Hello, Periscope. Let me try to not bring my camera view down just a little bit. Hello, IG, YouTube. Welcome. Come and thanks for tuning in. Share with your followers for me on Periscope and give me some hearts. You know, I love the digital love. Instagram, I really don't know how that works, but if you can share to your friends or your followers on IG, do that as well. Okay, I'm back in on Periscope. YouTube, guess what? Can you hear me on YouTube? The digital love Periscope. All right, I think I'm good. Good evening on YouTube. YouTube, if you're coming in, whether you're watching live or on the replay, make sure that you softly, thank you, softly hit that thumbs up button. I've been getting complaints that you all have been smashing it too hard. And guess what? Thank you so much. Guess what? Let me adjust this. YouTube, I am on Facebook Live because I received the most compelling message to please share my live screen back on Facebook. And so since the messages were so compelling, I decided to go ahead and go live. So for the Facebook audience, I think I hit the wrong button. Hold on. Okay. All right. So let me get this adjusted. Also on IG. Let me get this down some. Hold up. All right. So I just been really digesting everything. A lot of people live streams I've been watching today as well. Hold on for a minute. Oh, hey. You cheer, Alex, you've been cheering me on since day one on Facebook. Thank you so much. I can't get it adjusted. Hold up. Facebook, make sure, okay. I guess my phone done, hold on, my prompter done, okay. That's a little better. I'm all in YouTube way. That's a little better. So, all right, Periscope way. YouTube, make sure you softly hit those thumbs up. You all are coming in. But you're not hitting the thumbs up. Facebook, share to your personal page. Periscope, swipe to your right, share with your followers. IG, share with your followers as well. So if you follow the economy, if you follow anything, hello, D. Anderson, thank you so much. You know I've been discussing the FICO 10. So if you're new on my channel or new on any of these platforms, right, FICO 10 is expected to be a new scoring model for your credit scores that's scheduled to come into effect by the end of July. By the end of July. So I thought that it was very interesting, right, that JP Morgan predicted that the United States, would be in recession by the end of July, right? Would be in recession by the end of July. So with the FICO score or the credit score changes scheduled, whether it's the 10 or the 10T, around about that time, right? All of that is going to clash at once. So again, if you follow the news, if you follow anything with the economy, you know that the Fed is the institution, right? The Fed is the institution that puts money or supplies money into our government, into the economic system. Sometimes people think the Federal Reserve and the government is the same thing, but they are not. They are separate entities. So they are the ones that supply the financial resources to the government, which then supplies into the economy. Thank you, Instagram, so much. I'm getting some digital love on Instagram. Thank you so much. And so, what the Fed did for the fifth time, fifth time, is what is called quantitative easing, or QE, was to digitally, by inputting numbers, right? By inputting numbers, not by printing paper or physical money, right? But what they did was digitally, right? Put numbers, insert numbers into the system, into their treasury bonds, right? To try to boost the stock market and keep it afloat and the economy, because the stock market took a hit. Even with all of that injection, even without that putting that money into there, the stock market still crashed today. The stock market still was not successful. And so when you get to that point, people, we are headed, not inflation, right? People are somewhat aware of what inflation is, but we're headed into something called stagflation. We're headed into something called stagflation. So what is stagflation? Stagflation is when you have prices increasing as well as unemployment increasing, right? So let me say that again. Stagflation is when you have pricing increasing as well as your unemployment rate increasing. So you are seeing some signs of stagflation now, as stores across the country, from Home Depot to your shopping stores to your Walmart, right, that are closing hours or changing your hours because they cannot stock the products. Products are out of stock, right? And so this is a point where people are losing job or either getting less hours because stores are closing. And so the unemployment rate is increasing. And then you have your pricing that will increase on products because the products are out of stock. And so we have to look at that. A lot of the products that we are out of stock is products that we would normally get an exchange with, right? Import, export with China as well. So stagflation is prices are high, and so is unemployment, right? And then you don't want to get to that final stage where the feds have negative interest rates, which President Trump did recommend or suggest at one time, because at that point, it goes into hyperinflation. And hyperinflation is when so much of your printed dollars, in hyperinflation, so much of the printed dollars, you have to have just to see. That's why I got off Facebook. I just got a message. But anyway, I have my messenger on Facebook cut off, so you can reach me through email. Okay, on Facebook, so you can reach me through email. So then you have hyperinflation where it takes so many of your dollars to purchase products that are highly priced or that you can't get anyway, right? Because it's hard to get to keep or have the products in stock. All right, so YouTube says, thank you so much on YouTube, said good work. Easy says Delta Airlines laid off, 800 contract workers. HSBC Bank laid off, 35,000 on YouTube. HSBC Bank laid off 35,000 workers. The corona shut down the country and the stock market. They'll vote for the businessman again. I don't know, Easy. They might, but I want you all to know you heard it live from me. If Biden, right, if Biden selects Michelle Obama as his running mate, because it was mediatized that he was selecting a female, then I believe Biden will win. I believe he will win if he selects Michelle Obama as his running mate. And this is another bold prediction that if he wins and he selects her as his running mate, if Biden wins and selects her as his running mate, she will take over as the first female president. Don't ask, okay, and if you want to know why I say that, then put in the comments and I'll answer why. If you want to know why I think that would happen, put why in the comments, right? And I will answer the question why. So back to HSBC Bank laying off 35. I see you, Periscope. 35,000 workers. 35,000 workers. You also have the Capital One in New Orleans that closed 12 locations today. They're only offering like drive-through options. And then you have the bank in New York. That were out of $100 bills because people were making bank runs and pulling their money out of bank. So I have some digital love and hearts on Periscope. It's asking why. YouTube asking why. The Phoenix 33 says truth. I think it's Stacey Abrams here in Georgia. Okay. And Rick said Walmart was out of everything. 99-cent store and dollar store had nothing on the shelf. Wow. California has closed the restaurants and bars and churches and casinos. Closed all the schools. Wow, it's a big mess. I can imagine it is. So I hope that they stocked up, Rick, and for their kids to be on martial law lockdown. I know a lot of states are requiring the residents to be in at a certain time. So once again, no one on Facebook asks why. On my Instagram, I'm just now trying to go live on it, so I can expect that out of IG. So for YouTube and Periscope, this is why I say that if Joe Biden selects Michelle Obama, that he will win the presidency and Michelle Obama would take over as the first female president. I wish I had a drum roll. Hello, Lee, aka Les Brown, because the Simpsons predicted it. It's an actual Simpsons cartoon. They predicted it. Lisa Simpson is, and I have it on my YouTube channel. Lisa Simpson is saying that she's taking over as president because Trump left the economy in an ugly mess. And I think Michelle Obama, thank you so much. Oh, Periscope. I'm loving Periscope. They gave me the little drum emoji. And Michelle Obama, the Democratic, I think she can help not only win the minority votes, but persuade some of the Republicans to come on their side. It's just something about her and President Barack's charismatic, right? Or it may be Hillary Clinton, but I think Michelle Obama will have more of a charismatic type approach to help him get over that hump. So if that does not happen, then I do predict Trump to win. But the Simpsons are predicting that after his presidency, that a female president will take over, the first female president, and she will take over when the economy is in distraught, is when it's in a mess. And so, yeah, that's something to think about, Periscope. And Biden, I think he suffers somewhat from dementia or something. I don't think if he wins, if he makes that chess move, I don't think he's going to be in office for long. And her, as his assistant, will be appointed as the first female president. So we will see. We will see. And And so back to the bank runs, you have people taking their money out of banks. Like I said, the bank in New York are out of $100 bills, 12 Capital One location, temporary closing. People can't even get access to their security savings, right? And I don't know if they put a limit on how much cash they can withdraw. But I'm telling everyone is asking about investing. What should I invest in? Make sure with all of these store closures and all of products not being stocked, your very first thing to do in case our dollar collapse and we get into stagflation and eventually hyperinflation is to first make sure you have your essentials, right? Your basic needs, food and water, right? Make sure that you're using this now for food and water, So what happens if the dollar becomes worthless? Because we are at a point now where other countries do not want our dollar. They are saying that if you all are in so much debt, you have nothing to secure your money with, this paper with. You don't have any real assets. We know gas. And listen, another thing, it was long lines just to get gas today. Long lines just to get gas because Saudi Arabia and Russia and OPEC are in a gas war, which is lowering the price of oil by the barrel. And when have you ever known businesses that are profitable to lower prices? Right? So if the barrel of gas is being lowered, right? If it's being lowered, then of course consumers look at the prices of gas is lower, but it makes it more of a sense scarcity. And then you have the oil and gas companies. Now they cannot survive. They will go into bankruptcy because they cannot afford for the oil barrel prices to be that low. They need them to be between $40 and $50 because they have to drill, they have to pay their workers, they have to keep their business afloating. So you have these oil companies that cannot survive off of gas at $20 at a barrel. So how to get an 800 credit score? Thank you. Wow. I just got a $30 super chat from How to Get an 800 Credit Score on YouTube. So you follow me on Periscope and Facebook. Follow and subscribe to that channel as well. How to Get an 800 Credit Score. When are we going to do a dual YouTube live? Would you be open to that? You and I together, YouTube live. I would love to do that with you. Let me know. And on Periscope says U.S. shale oil will go into bankruptcy first. Exactly so. If they go into bankruptcy, people, listen. Not only are FICO scores scheduled to drop, right, this summer for over 40 million Americans with the new FICO 10 and FICO 10T, because banks and lenders do not want to be at risk. They do not want to be at risk when this recession comes and lending to risky lenders or consumers. So many people are all elaborating and happy and stating that, oh, wow, Fed dropped interest rates. And just know those interest rates for those loans, those mortgages are really for the small cap, mortgage companies. So like you have a HELOC, a line of credit. Now, someone asked me, should I refinance at this time? Well, yeah, you can refinance at this time once you analyze how much it's going to cost you in refinance fees. You don't want to refinance. Let me, okay. You don't want to refinance, right? And excuse me again, let me adjust my mirror. you don't want to refinance only to pay so much in your refinance and attorney fees to do that. And then after you've done that, you kind of behind the eight ball. Now, some people may want to refinance. They may have a PMI, FHA, or Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac type mortgage, and they want to refinance at that point because I'm trying to adjust my camera on YouTube. Okay. Because they want to get out of their PMI. I know a lot of people that's in the FHA type loan and they have private mortgage insurance and they want to refinance to try to get out of paying that monthly private mortgage insurance. Hello, my top fan, Miss Slaughter on YouTube. Hey, hon, how you doing? Hello. So how to get okay, God willing will. Okay, how to get an 800 credit score in a short time. Home prices will fall drastically. Joseph, you are so correct. How to get 800? What's your email, or what's the best way for me to contact you? And I have 42 people watching live on YouTube. Only 13 thumbs up. I need you all to lightly hit those thumbs up. Also, Periscope, swipe to your right, share with your followers. Facebook, share to your like and share to your personal page, please. So then the first thing, make sure you have the bare essentials, right? 3 basic needs, food and water. In case our dollar collapse, because again, 12 banks, Capital One, have already, they're saying they're temporarily closing. And the ones that are still functional in New Orleans you can only have access to the drive-through, right? You can't go in. So there's some people with security deposits, et cetera. They can't get access to it, right? They cannot get access to it. Then you have the Bank of New York that ran out of $100 bills, and they didn't have any more $100 bills because so many people were making bank runs and getting their money out of banks. So, okay, Rick, of course. Yeah, Rick, you did give me the thumbs up. Why do I think the dollar will collapse? That's a great question on Periscope, because we are at the point now where it looks like we are entering into what we call first stagflation. Okay, because you all know inflation is when prices, we see inflation every day. When our gas prices are going up, now you see gas prices going down, right? But now you see products off the shelf that, like simple products that we like, tissue and things of that nature, and just food supply. So now stagflation is, okay, prices are decreasing, or in some areas, some things that are scarcity might be increasing, but so is the unemployment rate. So Easy on YouTube just commented, for example, that HSBC Bank just laid off 35,000 employees. Norwegian Airlines laid off thousands of employees, or, because the traveling and industry is going down. You have Airbnb. They have to lower their Airbnb prices. So you have and a lot of people think that's because of the quote unquote virus, right? But this was on schedule to happen anyway. This was on schedule to happen anyway. And if you study anything about a depression versus a recession, like in 1918, you had the Spanish flu. And then in the 30s, you enter into the Great Depression, right? There's always some type of quote unquote disease that comes right when the economy is at its worst state. So in 2008, for example, it was a recession because it only included the housing bubble. And then in 2014, Ebola followed. So it followed the recession. But now the disease is coming before the economy takes an entire dip. And then what we have to look at too is we have higher than ever student loan debt, which President Trump did announce that he will stop our interest rates from occurring on all federal student loan debt. Just the interest rate. Don't get excited, not the balance. Right. And then he made a suggestion, the same thing that Bush did before we entered into the recession in 2008. We got a stimulus check from Bush right around the springtime, right? For, I think, $700 stimulus check. If some of you all remember that. Okay, I see you, 800 credit score. I'm going to send you an email. Thank you so much, John. Said dropping jewels. Rick, thank you for the thumbs up. If you haven't hit the thumbs up on YouTube, do that as well. Facebook, if you have not shared, share. Periscope, share, and get some digital love. And so now you have President Trump that's saying, okay, I want to do the same thing. Drop the payroll taxes, right? Or reduce your payroll taxes. So you may see an increase in your paycheck by spring because no payroll taxes are taken out. But that now affects the future of Social Security, of your Social Security and Medicaid benefits, because that's what those taxes are for. So it's just like President Trump stated, it's just a big, fat, ugly bubble. He said this years ago, right? Easy said Trump stopped loan forgiveness and food stamp. Okay. Wow. Rick said the restaurants are closing and nobody is working out here. Wow. Lots of people are just staying at home. California folks can't pay rent or home mortgage. It's going, wow. And so, Rick, it is going to get really bad. So a lot of people ask me at this time, with the mortgage interest rate so low, because no one is buying homes, what's going on that when the Fed cut interest rate or lower interest rate at 0%, thank you for the hard Periscope. When the Fed lower interest rate at 0%, now the banks are not making money off of debt or interest. When they're cutting the interest rate, the banks are not making money. So they are hoping to get some people who are already in homes to refinance some things, to get their homes refinanced, and hope their goal probably is for them to take out a second mortgage or a home equity line of credit. Because if one or two person lose, right, and their late fees, a one or two person lose an income in a two-income household, you're going to pull out of the mortgage of your home. Hello, Periscope from Dallas, Texas. And so that's what, even though the interest rates are losing and banks are losing off of the interest, they're trying to, at the same time, get new debt with existing homeowners. And with people losing jobs or losing hours or losing a source of income or main income, and they're already homeowners, they're hoping that they will reboot the system and take out new loans, even at the loss of new interest rates, because the banks are losing money. See, when the Fed cut the rates at 0, that means the banks do not want any of this in their possession. So what do I mean by that? Your CD, right? Your CD and your savings account interest rates just dropped. You wasn't getting much anyway. But I mean, now your CD and savings account, really, you're not getting anything. So they don't want to give you anything to put this money in the bank. Now they don't want you withdrawing it at the bank at the same time, because however funds that they have in the bank, legally they can lend out proportional of it, right? No investment for them on Periscope. So they have to keep a certain percentage of this in the bank to loan out against it, or at least in their booking records, right? At least in their booking records. Thank you, Corey, for some digital love. I love the hearts. So Ricky, if you're not on the East Coast, he's already telling you what's going on in California. I'm here in Mississippi, and People, I'm just telling you, while you have those things in stock, right? Periscope, money circulating, borrowed money. Why you have those things, brains and beauty. Thank you so much, YouTube. Why you have the opportunity to get out and get those essentials, right? Your food and water. Because my thing is, why is people buying so much toilet tissue? If you're not stocking up on food and water, you probably won't be going to the restroom much anyway. Like the toilet tissue shelves were empty, and it was canned goods still left on the shelves. Right? Yeah. So I'm like, if you're not eating and drinking, if you're dehydrated, you won't be using the restroom much anyway. And I'm from Mississippi. We can have some survival methods, man. If we have to cut us some towels and shirt and rinse and repeat, but we're going to take care of your food and water first. Your water won't make you poo. So, and do some things like get you some rice, some things that have long shelf life, that can expand when you cook it with little portions. Things like rice is always handy. If you get out of bottled water, you can always boil your tap water, right? And hopefully, if you're a Southern girl like I am, you have someone, some male, or maybe, and women do it here a lot too, that can fish and hunt for their own food, right? And go hunting and having land. So those are things I'm suggesting first. Pamela said she closed her saving account months ago. Easy, Trump cut funding to CDC 3 years ago to build his wall, which has delayed a vaccine for 2 more years. I thought that I saw a news article that they were, Sunday, they were already working on a vaccine. He also cut funding to disaster relief for hurricane victims. Why? For his wall. Rick said that's why. That's why I said if Michelle Obama is chosen as Biden running mate, more than likely he will win. And because I'm telling you, if JP Morgan has already announced that full recession by July, as well as FICO 10, because banks want to protect themselves from lending out money, right? I'm telling you now, if you want to get like Citi Card, right? I'm dropping some jewels for you also. Stay focused, stay tuned in. Citi Card, as of right now, is offering credit limit increases. So if you have a Citi Card, for example, credit card, and I think that's a soft pull. If you get that, a soft pull is a pull on your credit report that does not damage you score wise or will show up on the credit report. It'll show up behind the scenes. So if you have a Citi Card, those are some things you want to look at. Now the 0% interest rates won't affect credit cards annual percentage rates by that much, meaning that credit cards annual APR percentage rate is like 18% right now. I think it may go down to 15%. It won't affect the vehicle. It hasn't affected the vehicle industry as well. But there are some personal loans, like Discover, I think, have personal loans that are soft pull as well. The more information I get on how the Fed interest rate has been cut, because, hey, some people don't have to go to work anyway, the more I will share that information with you. Someone said, do not do it at Periscope. You will end up in the devil's bed unless, in fact, you can play. Please think. Well, this is my philosophy, Periscope. No problem. You don't have to be sorry. I love the engagement and interaction. I'm telling people to get it now while it's accessible so they can really get some assets, right? So they can get, especially if you don't know if your job is secure. So while you have the income in, Lord, I just got it. I'll talk about that later. But while you have the income in to justify, to get approved, you might want to do some things like buy silver, right? You might want to purchase silver. Silver right now will be on even high demand. I'm dropping some more jewels. So thank you, the Phoenix 33, for his $9.99 super chat and his #1 fan emoji. Thank you so much on YouTube. And because the Phoenix dropped that $9.99 super chat, I'm going to give you all some jewels. Let me give you all something that I normally would charge for on the consultation. If for some reason the United States have to go into war, right? Marcus on Periscope, let me know why you want to join. I'll bring you in. If we have to go into war with these countries like China and Russia, who's really trying, Saudi Arabia and China were already talking in agreements with all trade. China for years had been connecting with Africa. I don't know if you all knew that. They were actually sending their men to marry women in Africa to possess the land. And they're already making work in business ordeals with Africa as well. China accumulated more gold within the last 2 years than physical assets, than the United States. So in the event that at some point, right, I don't think, now this is where the twist turn. I don't think China would dare try to go into war with us as President Trump as presidency. But if Biden get Michelle Obama and he wins, and Michelle Obama takes over as presidency at the first female, then I really think they will try to go to war at that point, right? You're looking at a female president. And if we go to war, you have silver, that's an industrial metal that's used for the weapons of mass destruction. It's used for electronic batteries. It's used so much because everyone knows that whenever you go into war, the country that will win is the country that doesn't run out of money first. So I know this might sound like a conspiracy theory thing, but even if we don't go into war, at some point, China is trying to break away, and so is Saudi Arabia. They're saying, I don't want to give you my precious oil anymore for this dollar when it's not worth anything. And your economy is still sinking. We are tired of getting that. We don't want this to be the king of currency anymore. We can create our own crypto, which is what Russia and Saudi Arabia, China is already doing it. You all know that they are creating their own cryptocurrency that's really backed by gold. They have it backed by real physical asset, because I don't know if you all know this or not, but silver and gold. Thanks, Periscope. Until 1971. I'm holding this $20 bill that says gold certificate. The US dollar used to be backed by gold, meaning that the proportion of paper dollars that were printed had the physical, or was supposed to have the physical gold to back it. But 71, Nixon took it off the gold standard. And countries are like, we can't take your good faith, right? We can't take your good faith of saying we trust your dollar anymore, because you all are getting deeper and deeper into debt. And we are exchanging, right, our commodities for nothing but paper. Someone on Periscope says silver and gold more value than the US currency. And did you all know this as well? Under the court of law, JP Morgan Bank testified that gold was real money. And constitutional is considered real money as well. So they testified that gold was real money under the courts. And so now gold is more of a hoarded metal. I mean, people don't sell it. It's not in the exchange. But silver is a more of a metal that's to be used. Even biblically, the Bible states that silver ratio to gold. And the Egyptians, valued silver over gold in biblical use, right? And so you got gold that can be, silver that can be used in case we go to war. It can be used for battery functions. And did you all know this? I'm gonna drop another jewel that Ford went into bankruptcy because they were buying more I don't want to get them confused. I may do, but the palladium metal, and then to be used in vehicle, and so palladium metal to be used in vehicles, and until they found out that it can be replaced and used as platinum as well, right? There is talk of Trump retaliating against China about COVID-19. Okay, I don't know that. Thank you so much for following me. The silver fortune contract, the silver fortune was $14 an ounce. But I think the physical silver is about, the last I checked today. Oh, and didn't you all know that the American Silver Eagle coin was sold out? Canadian maple leaf sold out. So that's why you all need to get my silver stacking report, because you need to know what silver to invest in to get a higher rate on your return. Because if we enter into hyperinflation, meaning that no one will want the dollar for the products, in a recession or depression, they will be announcing the prices of the ounce by the hour. So you'll need to know what silver coin and bullions to invest in. You also need to know which ones are my silver report. Okay. Which ones are not reported or do not have to be reported to the IRS so you can get your capital gains. Meaning that you can get your, let me put this in. That when you resell it, you want to be heavily taxed because you have a 1099-C. Send me an email at LDFinancialCoaching and put in the subject line silver stacking report, and I'll let you know how to get that. Rick said LaTanya has the best information on this. She is awesome. Thank you so much. Pamela on YouTube says, question one, I have 2 credit cards now. So are you saying it would be wise for me to apply? No, I'm not telling you it would be wise for you to apply with a Citi credit capital card. I don't know your credit score, Pamela. I think, you sent me an email. I just read your email today. I don't think you paid for the credit audit though. And you never emailed me your credit report. Thank you, Periscope. Really? Saying gold and that's physical gold, not the contracts, at $13.10 an ounce. That's a steal. So you definitely need to get that silver stacking report. I'm just saying, like me, I'm already a Citi card holder. And so they are offering, as a result of the interest rates cut by the Fed, they're offering higher credit limit on Citi cards with soft pull, right? So hi, Queen. Nice to see you again. Thank you so much, YouTube. All right. Periscope, thank you for the digital love. The Phoenix says truth bombs. Yes, thank you, the Phoenix. Thank you so much. How do I invest in silver? You can get my silver stacking report. Pamela, thank you. She said, please get the silver stacking report. People say invest natural. Invest. What is the website? Natural, what are you looking to invest in? I'm just trying to give people some information on how to be recession ready. I'm just giving people on how to get recession ready. So that's my email, YouTube, LD@fixmycreditandcash.com. Okay, silver per ounce. Periscope says 1506. In the subject line at LD@fixmycreditandcash.com, put silver stacking report. My number 5 is $25. $25. My number 5 recommendation on there will give you a 300% return on your investment. The number 5 billion I have recommended, 300% return. And again, you want to know which coins, bullion, or bars are 1099-C IRS reporting, meaning that when you go back to resell it to a metals dealer, your metals dealer, they do not have to report the sales transaction to the IRS legally. So if you purchase it for $15 and silver goes up to $30 or $40, then you just made, if let's say $30 on the low end, you just made a capital gain return on your money, right, for $15. But again, that's going to be a return on your investment. But it gets to a point that if this fails, temporarily silver and gold, until whatever digitally the government are going to in place, can be an exchange of a currency. And then you have some banks that's already exchanging or have that currency set up, and you can already out here go to some places and exchange silver and currency for goods. So we're already digitalized. People are saying, oh, I don't think we're going to go to a digital economy. I think we are, because there's going to have to be something digitally that connects our countries and our banks. So if you have, well, we're already digital in the sense that you can use credit cards and debit cards, right? You don't have to ever use cash if you don't want to, unless you're a Dave Ramsey follower and you're still putting this stuff and stuffing it in your envelopes. That's why I never understood why he suggests to save cash and have a savings account, and when they're not giving you any money on this to save it. The CD and savings account just lower, and they wasn't giving you but 0.84 interest return on it anyway. They're not giving you anything to store this in banks, whether you have a savings or a CD or money market. It's not anything worth accumulating interest. So now with this quote unquote virus, you have people that saying, well, hey, it can be like China had already stated that this can also hold the germs and can be a spreadable device. So what do you think they're going to do with this if they're looking at it as Corona cash? Thank you, IG said, preach people need to clear their debt now before FICO 10 and 10T drops. Now they're going to burn it. You're right, Periscope. Okay, Miss Foster said she emailed me. Natural King said, how do you get the credit report? Just send me an email. I put my email address in there, Natural Kings LD at fixmycreditandcash.com. Put in the subject line, silver stacking report, STACKIN, silver stacking. And okay, I just got an email from Marcos, and I will email you the instructions on how to obtain that report. I actually have someone working on today my PDF, so I can just have it on my website. So in the next couple of days, I'll go live and I can tell you how, just go to my website, pay for it there, and you'll be able to download it. So that's in the works right now. But until email it to me. Now, this is my philosophy, Instagram, on paying off your debt first before FICO 10 and 10T drops your credit score. If you're a person that's probably already at a 680 or lower. So they're saying like at 680 or lower that your credit score could be affected with this new changing model from as little as 20 points as high as 40 points, right? A drop. If you don't have debts, right? And which I understand is why Instagram is saying pay down your debts. If you see now the current FICO 8, FICO 9 credit score does not really punish you for installment debt or what is called fixed payment loans, like your vehicle loans, your student loans. doesn't really charge you, but it not charge you, but it doesn't really penalizes you. But it will penalize you for carrying high credit card balances, for having credit cards that are maxed out under the current model. So when people would ask me, hey, I need to get a credit score increase, I would tell them, okay, pay down those credit card debts. You have too much debts on your credit card. Your credit cards are maxed out, right? You want to keep your credit card debts 30% or lower. So if you have a $5,000 credit limit, for example, you want to have like a $1,500 balance or lower, right? Possibly, or even 10%, $500 or lower. So if you have it over that 30% threshold, then the lower your credit score would be. And so then I would implement, your debt income to debt ratio, YouTube, exactly. So then I would tell them about the W4 wealth strategy, which adds a home-based business, I called it paycheck checkup, to your paycheck, which makes you an employee and an entrepreneur at the same time, which means you're able to add some deductions on your W4 at your job and get less taxes taken out of your paycheck, right? And then more deductions to add when it comes to filing your tax return. So, for example, now you have 475 deductions that you are in position to claim as an employee and an entrepreneur versus just 15 of just being an employee, right? So just stick with me. And at the same time, you would get $200 to $400 more increase out of your paycheck, right? $200 to $600 more, on $200 on the low end. With that extra $200, a lot of time people don't have to file bankruptcy. They can pay out those. They find the extra money without working overtime or getting a promotion, right? Thank you, Periscope. Said, love my nails. Thank you so much. And that's my W4 wealth strategies. You have to keep up with all your tax deduction with the app that comes with the business kit on your smartphone or whatever, your mobile phone, right? And so that's where the extra money came in. That was the way to combine your credit score as well as increase your cash flow. Now, other than the silver coins and the silver stacking report, I tell people, thank you, Instagram. She said, that's correct. 2, your next investment needs to be a business. And what business do you think I'm going to recommend? I'll wait, and I'm going to read this. Nick's Ab said there should be a global cryptocurrency backed by the government, not by shady Bitcoins. I think that's coming. I think there is a global cryptocurrency that will be backed by the government. But what it's going to have to take is that chain link that's going to connect all of them. Car, I got your email for the silver stacking report. Periscope, the question was, and Facebook and all my other Instagram, what business do you think that I recommend that you invest in that's recession proof? Okay, Rick, you're on note. You said it's going to be a record number of bankruptcy. Good assets. Yes, Curtis Davis says good assets and good credit is a combination for wealth. Now you're coming in. Curtis said real estate. I don't know, Curtis, about real estate right now, because even though the interest rates are low, right, we have to look at, because of this coronavirus, people that are losing their jobs, that are renters, whether it's apartment or renting or leasing, they are stating that President Trump do not want them evicted. So if you have someone that's unable to pay you with real estate, and with Airbnb prices dropping and falling for Airbnb because of the travel, real estate is a little risky if you cannot afford to get the cash flow from that every month during a recession. So yes, it's recession proof. Periscope says, hint, Ramon Moore has it right. Credit repair. I'm sorry, report. No, definitely not stocks. Let me tell you something. I see people on these platforms that are stating that rich people are buying stocks and middle class and poor buying toilet tissue. That is so far from the truth, because rich people are not buying stocks. They got out of stocks a long time ago. They got out of stocks alone. When they knew this recession was coming. That's why who's on the Microsoft board? It's off Microsoft board right now. Thank you for the thumbs up, Instagram. What's his name? That's no longer on the board of Microsoft. You all help me out. I got brain freeze. Bill Gates, thank you so much, Periscope. They saw the writings on the wall, and then, we have these social media shares about investing in stock. Thank you, Instagram, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is able to call these companies and tell them his input. Thank you, Periscope. And tell these inputs of how he wants to run and operate the companies. He has the power with Berkshire Hathaway, and they have inside control. So don't get it twisted. Rich people are not buying stocks right now. You're not buying a dip. You're buying a dump. And unless you can afford to have your money tied up in the stock market. See, the Great Depression, which they're comparing this and calling it a global depression. The Great Depression lasted a decade, 25 years, people. Your money in stocks, right? Your money in stocks can be tied up for months and years to come. And people are telling me, oh, well, I'm going to get dividend paying stock. Well, if REITs are down, which are real estate, which pay the highest dividends, and the oil and gas companies are taking a dive because of Saudi Arabia and Russia and the OPEC situation, then the REITs, the dividend paying is not going to, what people don't understand, dividends pay you as long as they are profitable. They can stop and cut the dividends at any time. And so, yeah, McDonald's and Coke pay dividends, but you missed that ride a long time ago. And then the dividends is only 2-3% maybe at the highest. And it's paid quarterly, right? And it's paid quarterly. Instagram, I only have a minute remaining. So you all follow me. I'm logging off Instagram now. My timer is on. I guess I've been on too long. Come on my YouTube channel, Queen of Credit, Instagram. Find me on YouTube, Queen of Credit. I have to log off. Give me a second. I didn't know I was on this long. That's okay. We got some people that don't have to, that's working for home. Okay, my IG channel is picking up. So, all right, I see them coming in on my YouTube. And so that's far from the truth. People thinking they're buying a dip. People, you're buying a dump. You're buying a dump. I think I'm good on Periscope. I think Instagram just have a certain time limit that you can do your live on there. So of course, credit repair. People, I'm telling you, FICO 10 is coming. And so people that may unfortunately lose, let me power this out, lose their homes to foreclosure, or that have to file bankruptcy. The people that do have real estate, if you have a new rental investment, and you know that you won't be under the auspice of having a tenant, right? Oh, thank you. Periscope said it's a hot mic. Side note, match those nails. I live up. Yeah. I'm gonna get back to that in a minute about my nails and my microphone. And so, unless you can get tenants that will have recession-proof jobs, which you're gonna have to check their credit reports to know that, then you don't want to take a risk. So either way it go, credit is going to be the hot commodity. And so that's why. And so if you're interested in the credit repair business, do I teach? No, I'm not. It won't be where I'm teaching you credit repair, right? hold on, let me fix this on Facebook. For some reason that it's, hold on, you all. Sorry about that, Periscope. Okay. Not that teaching, my Facebook is credit to cash flow. This is good as I can get at Facebook. You all might want to just come on and join me on YouTube as well. The picture is better than Facebook right now. But if you can't, just go on. I don't know what's going on with that adjustment. So and my YouTube is Queen of Credit. And you can find me on Queen of Credit or something on Facebook as well. So if you're not having that risk and money is dirt cheap for real estate and you already have your credit in position to qualify for this dirt cheap real estate and you know how to analyze a deal, you still gonna have credit is still gonna play a part because you're gonna have to care credit to cash flow. Facebook the same. I know mine, yes, credit to cash flow on Facebook. Or just look for, or just search for Queen of Credit too. So, yeah, YouTube is best. Some type of, and then credit repair is something you can do for home. Let me see what's going on Facebook. Credit repair is something, give me a second. For some reason, my Facebook prompt not doing right. Ever since I cut out IG. Okay. All right, there we go. That's better. So credit repair, yeah, YouTube Queen of Credit. Thank you so much, Periscope. It's you can do it from home. It's going to be much needed, people. I'm telling you, 40 million Americans are going to be affected by this FICO 10 or TNT negatively, and they're going to need somewhere to stay, and landlords and tenants are going to highly screen. I just spoke with someone that had a rental already in place, told me he received over 130 applications. So it's going to be cherry picking for those. And so at that point, for some people, they're already using their credit cards as a second income stream just because they're not earning enough money, right? And so credit card, it is for emergencies. You use credit cards for emergencies. That's the purpose of them. And I can't think of a better. Oh, Facebook. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. I can't get this right on Facebook. But I can't think of a better emergency than lost job or lost income to use your credit cards a smart way. Give me a second. Facebook, I'm gonna log out. Just find me on YouTube because it's getting too much of my attention. So Facebook, follow me on YouTube. All right, so sign off Facebook. So I mean, when is the best time to use your credit in emergency? All right, Curtis says plumber, electrician, security installer, mechanics, new recession-proof job. Yeah. Yeah, but vehicles are getting repoed on so much. The vehicles are getting repoed so much. And then you got Curtis, what if we are in like California where people are already in martial law full effect with martial law. And we're not getting out as much, right? So those jobs will be, but I tell anybody you need something for home. What is something do we invest in? I'm saying as an investment. Now I can't tell you how long it would take silver to increase in its pricing. I can't say how long that would take, but silver being an industrial metal, and it's going to be a hot commodity if we go to war. because it's needed in weapons of mass destruction for war. And the country that has the most money, wins the war. Okay, rapid delete, Brandon. Do I know rapid delete credit repair? Do I know rapid delete, or do I know how to do rapid delete, Brandon? Periscope, what question did I ask earlier? I'm not sure what you mean. Christian, the ongoing financial 𝒞𝓋𝑒 will turn into a currency crisis, thus maximize your debt since it will become worthless. Thank you, Christian. Oh my God. Let me read what Christian said again on YouTube. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand, Christian. Maximize your debt since it will become worthless. Christian says again, the ongoing financial war will turn into a currency crisis. Thus, maximize your debt since it will become worthless for the banks to pursue any action. I don't mean any harm, people. You got a credit card, you got to get food, you got to get something. Because if they're saying Corona Cash for this, it's going, when you use a credit card, it's still going to be digital, still going to be digitalized, still going to be a digital transaction. No, I did not. Someone on Periscope saying, am I telling you how to max out? No, I'm not saying to max out. I'm saying it is better to have credit and debit cards if you don't have a job until you find a job, because that's why they are cracking down on people that the banks want to lend to. But did you all know that during recessions, credit unions lend better than banks because they have members. They are under a different auspice. They're not under the same organization rules. So you definitely want to be a part of a great credit union. Me, for example, I'm already with Navy Federal and Penn Fed. Because if you have credit during a recession, you lose a job, you can use credit to create cash flow. You can use credit to invest in assets. And if you know how to analyze a deal, real estate will be on sale. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people will lose their real estate due to foreclosure and bankruptcies, right? And silver and gold will be used to reset whatever digital system lies. They go beyond credit and debit cards in the future. So then we get into a discussion about altcoins and cryptocurrency. Because to my understanding, XRP or Ripple is the one blockchain or source that can connect all countries from around the world. And at some point, we still are going to have to exchange and import and export with other countries to survive. So you need to look into, I didn't say Bitcoin now. I'm not saying Bitcoin. Bitcoin is so volatile. All of them are volatile. But I do see that whether it's Stellar, and I'm not giving financial advice, but I do see Chainlink. I do see where that's going to be well needed. Christian says, if you owe $50K in credit card debt, normal value, it will be worth less than $5K as real value after the currency crisis. That's true. And you don't know when they're doing South Pool as well. That's that card, which I do. Okay, Periscope, they said they car and do odd jobs. Okay, this Brandon. Curtis says, so COVID-19 may force work from home jobs. I love it. Rick said, yeah, repos are record high out here in California. Car lots are not selling anything, right? Even the new car lots are offering low credit score for cheap financing. I think vehicle loans were already at like 1.9% already. Trying to get, because vehicles are overpriced, especially new vehicles. I read an article today when it was discussing the interest rate cut by the feds, that people on average are into 6-year loans for new vehicles, and they're losing all the equity, right? Someone says not maxing out credit cards, but you may not owe when the crisis hit. Yeah, well, I mean, you got to look at credit card is unsecured money, or not money, or money is silver and gold. Credit cards is unsecured, and I hate using the word debt because people look at debt bad, but it's unsecured line of credit. There we go, line of credit, meaning that you have no collateral backing it. You don't have a vehicle to back that, like you do a vehicle loan, or you don't have a house like you do a mortgage. It's nothing secure to that. The most it can do, if you're in a situation where you cannot repay, is number one, be reported as a charge off on your credit report. And if it's not reported 100% accurately, that can be removed by a credit professional like myself. And then the other thing is, I don't see this coming with us being in a crisis, but banks could take you to court for the amount, especially if the amount was over $5,000. They would take you to court and or sell it to a collection agency. And if they took you to court, they would have a right to garnish. If they sold the debt that you did not repay, meaning that they sold it, then you fight with the collection agency for validation. If they cannot validate, then you do not legally owe or will have to pay them, and nor will they subpoena you for court if you ask for a proper validation, not these little watered down validation letters that you can Google for free that says, show me that I owe the amount that you were able to collect in my state. That's not the validation that's I'm speaking about, that legalized will clear you from owing them if they did not properly purchase the debt as required by law by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Then the third option is the company just chooses, like Amazon, who pays no taxes, right? That we're going to take the debt that you owe us and write it off as a tax write-off for our business because we don't want to pay taxes. See, what the rich do is they save, and this is what the middle class has gotten the miseducation about. The middle class think that when the rich suggest, hold on for a second, let me do this. Okay, I had to readjust my light. So the middle class thinks that saying that it's not about the money you make, it's about the money you keep. Most middle class think that means that live frugal and put your money, stash it away in an envelope, $1,000 for an emergency, or put it in the savings account. I answer that Periscope. But no, that's not what the rich and wealthy mean. The rich and wealthy mean is about making, like Amazon, billions of dollars and keeping their money where they're not giving away in taxes to the IRS. So what they would do is you have a 1099-C, not like the 1099-B on precious metal, right? You got the 1099-C that they will send you in the mail, and you, let's say if it's a $10,000 debt, are supposed to file it on your taxes as income. So if you gross $70,000 for the year, it would appear when you do your taxes that you're gross $80,000 because that debt was written off in the company and they're transferring the taxes to you that you have to pay. But if you have a good tax preparer and specialist on your team, there are some things legally that can be done so you don't be taxed on that debt as well. Periscope asked me, YouTube, where is the fish that's supposed to be in my fish tank? And my water level is getting low. I set up that fish tank about 2 months ago, and I don't put water in it, and I keep saying I'm gonna go buy the fish, but every time I go live, I like my lamp on, and so I cut the lights and everything on, and I just like the sound of the water. I'm not sure if I can keep fish. I tried it a couple of times, even tropical fish, and after a couple of weeks, they died off on me. So, but give me maybe before we get this martial law or whatever, let me try to get out and I put 1 or 2 in there and see how I do. But I do need to refill it up with some water. So thanks for bringing it to my attention. All right. The technology, better filter love. Okay. Thank you, Periscope. Curtis said the technology, teledoc. I don't know, how online learner available, so many jobs from home. Okay. Digital currency, the future. That's why banks hard on credit. That's true. The banks are going to change. I just think that this is getting they're getting prepared now. Just think about it. How much money the banks would save with a more digitalized currency system, where there are no fees in a sense when you swipe your debit card. So because that's merchant fees. From what I have learned or researched, at Ripple, XRP, or XLM, those bases reduce those fees dramatically. So if the banks are already losing money, right? If they're already losing money behind the Fed interest rate cuts, which means they can't make more money on your loan or your debts, then they're going to try to recoup somewhere. And if they switched over to a more digitalized type currency system through the crypto or altcoins, that will help them and the business that they're doing business with on the merchant fees. Yeah, someone said banks are about to fail. And if you all study history in Great Depression, banks did fail, right? Banks did fail. A lot of banks closed. People were not able to retrieve their cash, right? And that was lost money. That was lost money for them. So something is going to have to change. Yeah, they're going to narrow it down in a few. And that's why the FICO 10, that's why the FICO 10T is coming in. So you add all of this stuff, the repo market with vehicles, you add credit scores can either drop or increase. The banks are going to tighten up on who they're lending to. You're going to, they might start saying this is Corona cash. And I'm trying to make sure. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, and because that's what China was saying, that they have to change their printed yuan to switch over to crypto to currency. Okay, you were the guy that was speaking about 5G last week. Hello, and I did get that about the filter and the ammonia level to Periscope. So, okay, Curtis said XRP and MoneyGram make the SWIFT system disappear. The current exchange SWIFT bank costs to send money to country, expensive of the times. GM Ford making big SUV to create small margins to support union pays. And someone says, Rick said, I have a Toyota. Yes, a 7-year loan. 3 years ago, I got this car. 7 years, Rick? I still have 4 years on the loan, and I'm pretty sure it was front loaded with interest on that loan. I have so many people that, when I look at their credit reports and I'm like, do you understand that this loan is front loaded with interest? That's all you're paying. You're not even paying the original, the amount that you're borrowing, the principal on it. And they tell me, well, this is what I can afford. And I'm like, you just got your credit repaired. You can get that refinanced. I always go to Car Gurus and I buy all of my vehicles from Car Gurus online. I'm not saying I recommend that for anybody. I didn't test drive them. I did my due diligence. I looked at the reviews. I looked at the interior carefully, and I asked myself if I receive this vehicle, and how many owners it's had, the Carfax report or Carfax report, right? All of that. And I bought all of my vehicles online, and, I cut out the middleman pretty much of a salesman, because car gurus would tell you if you're underpriced, overpriced, if the asking price is. And, I think a second option is if you want to buy used, where you really want to go in and test drive and do all of that, then CarMax. CarMax have some reasonable prices. Yeah. And some great vehicles if you're a person that want that hands-on driving experience. Car Gurus or CarMax. So Zimbabwe currency went a bust in recent South America. That's true. Rich people are possibly more nervous than us regular folks. Nah, rich people are prepared. I think they are prepared. My car, most people are spending 2 times the money for the same car. That's true. And Rick said, I tried to refinance, but no one will. I am disabled and have to have a car because I live. Rick, this I do know, that if you were to file bankruptcy and you include that vehicle, and let me make sure I'm getting this right because I'm not a bankruptcy attorney, but you file bankruptcy, whatever the current value of the car is and the current standard interest rate is what you would pay for the car. So, that may be an option for you without me, quote unquote, giving you financial advice. That when you file, if you want to keep it and it's in good driving conditions and worth keeping, then a bankruptcy will allow you to refinance that at whatever the Blue Book value is and whatever the standard interest rate is for used vehicles. Okay, most people are, yeah. Speedy Clippers, I have a 2011 car and tried to refinance it. They said it's too old to do it. Okay. Yes, Rick. So, yeah, 2011 Speedy. Why haven't you paid that off yet? 2011. Did you already buy it gently used? Well, Rick, I know, I'm not telling you to file bankruptcy. Someone says they're 5 years in the black. But that is a strategy. You can talk to your bankruptcy attorney in California and, get your own financial advice. Okay, Rick said he's calling new. Oh, Rick, 2010, it's 7-year loan. Okay. Yeah. So Speedy Clipper, that mean, yeah, you can't refinance. I got you. Periscope, what do you mean by that can't refinance? Bankruptcy, you could. And it with the bankruptcy, it will be whatever the Blue Book value is and whatever the current interest rate. Too old, not of value to banks. No, not through banks. Now I don't know, how old or whatever the vehicle might have to be, but that is a strategy of bankruptcy for people that's upside down in cars. Yes, Periscope. Yeah, bankruptcy, banks. All right. Subprime car loans and subprime mortgages still exist as well. Subprime mortgages still exist. Don't think in 2008 they changed it. It went from subprime people to what they call it now, non-prime mortgages. They changed, and also the Obama administration, right, changed it to subprime mortgages after the 2008 housing crash, and nothing changed but the name. And you're going to have some people that credit-wise didn't qualify for those non-prime mortgages. And, they're going to be in this foreclosure and bankruptcy run. So, if you're finding some great deals right now with low interest rate, you need to get them. But I'm telling you, right now, the interest rates are low on mortgages in real estate, but the pricing is still somewhat high, right? You haven't reached that pricing crash. So if you hold on a couple of months and keep your credit in good standing, you'll get the low interest rates as well as the the low price, because a lot of foreclosure and bankruptcies will come as a result in the housing market as from non-prime funding from the non-prime. Also in 2008, the Obama administration as well changed student loans to make all student loans federal. So when you hear President Trump stating now that the interest rates on student loans, all federal student loans, will be delayed, or until this crisis, until we hear otherwise, that's because after 2008, banks, and they used to be at a point where that private banks, Sallie Mae private banks, would be able to give you private loans. And what would happen as a result of that, you get the private loans, right? And if it goes into collection, you may were able to fight the collection as well, get it off your credit report, and the debt was discharged, or through collections if they didn't have their proper validation. Because you have people that are collection agencies and you have people that are debt buyers. Where in 2008, the Obama administration reversed all of that and make all student loans federal. So people that have gotten student loans since 2008 are in a position where, some of these student loans that they used to maybe get discharged through a collection or file in bankruptcy, they're not able to file them anymore because they're not private. Right. And so you can't put federal student loan in bankruptcy. And a lot of people accumulated these student loans, and some of them were not really using them to further their education. They were just using them for the financial leverage to get a student loan, not knowing that they were all federal in 2008, and you could no longer include them for bankruptcies. So yeah, this is gonna be an ugly bubble, real ugly. Curtis said Navy Federal has refinanced 25% value if the car is too. Okay, refinance 125% value, refinance the car 2 or 3 years old. So if you know someone that are members of Navy Federal, that's your family member or Penn Fed, you definitely want to ask them for their membership so you can become a member and you can join as well. Thank you, Periscope, for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. YouTube, you all need to get a thumbs up too. I only have 39 at this time. YouTube, if you haven't, softly hit that thumbs up. With my first round of letters, I was able to get my bankruptcy removed, but all the accounts attached to it were updated to my report. Are the accounts attached with it stating discharged in bankruptcy? Is that statement still on there? Because a lot of time you will have accounts that are connected with the bankruptcy, but it shows that you have great payment history. And so deleting those accounts, some may offer lower your credit score because you've just deleted accounts that are showing good payment history. So it all depends on your strategies. Are those accounts affecting you from some type of approval? Or you just want them out? Because if they have all green and okay and stuff, just know deleting them would get all of their history off. And then you'll have a thin file and you'll have to start all over again. So I'm waiting on Reed Williams to answer that. Oh, and don't forget about business credit cards, people. Don't forget about business credit card. The best. If you're trying to use your personal credit to get business credit cards, and you know what business credit cards do not report on your personal credit report, then also you need to go ahead and get business credit card. If you have over a 680 credit score, if you have no recent late payments within 2 years, and within 2 years, if you don't have 5 or more inquiries on your credit report, and that's from all three, like Experian, you need 5 or less, Equifax, you need 5 or less, TransUnion, you need 5 or less, right? 5 or less on all three, no late payments in 2 years, no collections, no charge-offs within 2 years, and no bankruptcy. You can get qualified for business credit, right? And if I know, I recommend the business credit card if you're my credit clients that do not report to your personal. That way you can have credit in the form of business credit cards, especially if you have a business, preferably LLC. And that's another way that you can use credit cards to get richer in this recession. So Periscope, one of the things I was saying, someone was saying they got their bankruptcy removed out their credit report, but not all accounts that was attached to it. And I was asking, is it reading discharge and bankruptcy? Because if it's not reading discharge and bankruptcy, then you don't want to get those accounts deleted, because usually the accounts that are included or bankruptcy are in good standing. So she's saying the accounts have bad payment history. It shows no payments. The bankruptcy was discharged, which is okay. Yeah. Okay. So it won't hurt you to get them to keep disputing and get those deleted. But congratulations on getting that bankruptcy deleted. So just keep on working on those accounts that was discharged or connected with it that's reporting negatively, and that will help your credit score. All right. Good night, Christian. I think I'm about to log off as well. Have I tried SoFi? I'll turn to Linda, help fund my business. Curtis, the SoFi show on your personal credit report? Do you have to wait 2 years for credit cards for your business? No, you do not. You do not, Speedy Clippers. But you definitely need an EIN number. And I would recommend an LLC, not a sole proprietor. How do I maximize selling books on Amazon? Brand new. I received for free over 10,000 books. I think Amazon, if I'm not mistaken, has limited a lot of online sales or online business with them. Something about someone bought a lot of disinfectant products and was trying to sell them through their Amazon store or business, and they kind of shut it down for everybody. So I think Amazon is a little bit limited on what you can do with that. Okay, Curtis says SoFi does report to his personal credit report. They approved. That's okay. I'm glad you got approved, Curtis, but it's just like Capital One. You know, those business credit cards showing your personal credit card, your personal credit report, and then the purpose of business credit card is to get a higher limit, right? To get higher lines of credit than you would normally have with a personal credit card. And so if you have to conduct business with that, you don't want to run or have that credit limit, because that increases your income to debt ratio, which when the FICO 10 comes in 10T, that's going to lower your credit score. So you always want to be able to have access to business credit that doesn't report on your credit report. So that's what I recommend. Okay. Earl says, in my humble opinion, I don't think FICO 10 would be utilized widely by lending institutions for for another couple of years at least. FICO, well, at least FICO 9 is used. Some people don't believe FICO 9 is used. In my humble opinion, and I guess we'll have to wait till July, it will be. Because John Alzheimer's, one of the big gurus in the credit game, put out an article about it. John Alzheimer, I think, or it starts with a U. And if you know anything about the credit business, he's the one that really came out and helped people understand the FICO scoring model and what it entails, and breaking down the FICO and understanding and telling people how to repair their credit and use their credit to increase the FICO, because up to that, people was not educated. They just knew about the VantageScore, which you see on Credit Karma or Credit Sesame. So if he's writing about it, and if we enter a recession, banks are looking to protect themselves. They are not trying to accumulate debt for uncreditable people, right? And what I mean by that is they don't want high risk debt. They learned from 2000. They don't want time. They don't want to have people that's going to add an AU. That's why AU Tradelines have shut down already. No one on YouTube or social media is talking about AU Tradelines anymore. They don't sell them because they don't want a customer to purchase an AU trade line and they pull their credit report and they're only able to see a 30-day snapshot, and someone has even though they've already updated where they can tell you're a trade line user, or they don't want you to do a credit sweep, which is you're falsely stating that you're a victim of identity theft. And then when they get that letter or affidavit in, within 5 days, they have to temporarily hide those accounts that you are stating that's a victim of identity theft. And then after they do their research, they find out that those accounts were yours. You were not a victim of identity theft. And they replace them back on your account. But for 30 days, it appears that you don't have those negatives. And a lot of people will go out. And that's why we have repos so high, because they would get credit sweeps and AU trade line, and they would get approved for these vehicles and things. And then they get repossessed and they couldn't afford them, or they get approved for credit cards because they've gotten AU trade lines. And now the banks are having charge-offs, right, as a result, because people are not paying back those credit cards. And so if you can get which you burn bridges with banks when you don't pay back those charge-offs, but some people will get charge-offs, get them deleted, get a good tax person, not file taxes if it's written off, right? Or they take the risk of being sued and taken to court. But, because Amex will take you to court for their money. Amex will, and Bank of America. But not all credit card companies will take you to court. They'll just write it off as a loss. Or what people will do is they'll make a settlement, right, to pay less than what they did. And banks are not going to put themselves in a position for that during a recession. So as my grandmother would say, all of that foolishness of adding those AU trade lines, credit sweep, are going to stop. And that's going to allow them to look at your credit for 2 years and not a 30-day window. Okay, thank you so much. All right, Periscope. All right, I'm saying FICO 10 is going to hit in the middle of 2021. I think it's going to hit in July because JP Morgan is already forecasting a recession. Yeah, the AU part is over. The credit sweep part is over. These banks are not going to be stuck with bad debt. That's over with. And they're not going to continue, until 2021 because they're already closing locations. They're already running out of $100 bills. They're already cutting interest rate mortgages. What makes you think they want to be stuck? They're already selling their debts to other mortgage companies to try to clear their books. People are already getting their mortgages sold right now. That's paying good mortgages from the banks to mortgage companies. That's already in play. Yeah. Phoenix said the people who purchased all of hand sanitizer to price gag had to donate the products to prevent prosecution. Well, that's good. Okay, so YouTube is right on the hand sanitizer. They got caught quick. Wow. Will have been fined big time. Wow. The sad thing about AU people do not learn about personal finance. Education is lost. That's true. That's true. So, no, it's not going to be in the middle of 2021. That's why they already started telling you in January that it was coming. And did you all know that one of the reasons why they said it was coming because they had over amount of consumers now with high credit scores than ever before, like in the 700s. And so those high credit scores were manipulated. Those high credit scores were manipulated with AU trade lines and credit sweeps. And they're tired of seeing the false identity theft claim for a credit sweep and people adding AU trade lines to temporarily inflate or increase their credit scores. People can't no more inflate more than 10%. Okay, or they get fined. Wow, that's on the hand sanitizer. Thank you, Curtis. Yeah, people credit score with an average of 706. They said, the bank said, nah, we got to put a stop to this. We know when recession hit, people are losing job and losing overtime and getting layoffs. We're not gonna be holding the bag on this bad debt. The banks are struggling themselves. So what time would I go live tomorrow? Let's shoot for 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. I think that does well. I thank you all for joining in. This has been great. Thank you, YouTube. It's 46 thumbs up, 60 people live. And we will look at what the market is doing tomorrow at Bitcoin and how to use your credit. Thank you so much, East Coast, to create cash flow, people. When you don't have a job, let me tell you this sometime. When you don't have a job, credit is what you need. If you don't believe me, read the 2 Kings Bible. Read the Bible, 2 Kings. The widow woman whose husband had died. She had lost a source of income. She was in bad debt. She told the prophet Elijah that the debtors are coming to take her 2 sons because she cannot afford to pay that debt. And the prophet told her to go get credit. He said, go borrow vessels. And what she did with her credit was start a business. She borrowed those vessels. She filled them up with oil. And it was a home-based business because her sons were helping her gather the vessels and fill them. And she used her creditable name. That's why I say it's the difference between debt and credit. It's like Robert Kiyosaki teaches, it's the difference between assets and liability. She was in debt to begin with, right? Debt is anything that takes away from you. Credit is anything that brings to you. So because she was in debt, her sons were about to be taken away by the creditors. But when she used her credit and invested in the business, it brought her income. It brought her cash flow. She used her creditable name. Thank you. Look at my Periscope. And she paid off her debt and she lived off the rest. This lady retired rich. Rich. Yep, I'm preaching. We having credit church. She retired rich. It's not something I'm teaching you. It's a biblical principle that has been mistaught and misabused in the church for years or in the Christian community. That alone is my standalone scripture that it's the difference between debt and credit. Debt is anything that takes away from you. In her case, it was about to be her sons. In your case, it's your income and your cash flow is taken away from you and it's not bringing you, credit church Periscope, any money in return and investment. So that's why I teach you, you're going to use credit card, invest in a silver stacking report, invest in something that can increase you and bring you a higher rate of return, invest in something that can bring you some commodities. During recessions, they're announcing the price of silver and gold by the ounce on the radio station, right? use your credit if you're going to do anything. Stop buying these vehicles upside down with your credit, right? Stop getting these upside down loans, high interest rate. You can also use credit people to pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years. Credit cards, I mean, right? It's called velocity banking. Velocity banking. So you won't be in a mortgage for 15, to 30 years, right? While your house still has some life and equity in it, because a mortgage is front loaded with interest and escrow too. So you take the simple interest from a credit card, apply and attack the principal in a mortgage, which is called amortization interest. And as you crash into the core of that principal, your interest and escrow rates will decrease, or your interest on the mortgage will decrease, and you're attacking the cancer, which is the principal of the mortgage debt. And you can pay that off, and then you pay the credit card balance off, especially if it has 0% credit card offers, right? And you rinse or repeat. So let's just say you have a $5,000 credit card limit with 0% balance transfer. You get that $5,000, you transfer, and you tell them, or you liquidate it. That means you turn it to cash. If it comes with balance transfer checks, pay it in order to yourself, put in your checking account, call them and say, I want to make a $5,000. This is an example, illustrative purposes only, a $5,000 lump payment on my principal. Make sure you tell them the principal. Your next statement, you're going to see a decrease. Pay principal only, Periscope. You're going to see a decrease in your interest, right? And let's say you have a 10-month, $5,000, 0% balance transfer fee. So you calculate for 10 months, you're going to pay $500 on that credit card, and you recycle and repeat all over again. But when you can get out of bad debt, right? When you can pay off some of your vehicles that you haven't been, financed with bad, when you can free up some cash flow, because overtime might not be an option right now in this economy. So when you can pay off a car note, you can free up $500 and apply that principal for a credit card to pay down your mortgage. Right, the interest on the balance is what drops the principal. That's called velocity banking. There's so many ways to use your credit to get out of bad debt, right? And to increase more cash flow in your life so you can live a better life. This lady retired rich by using credit. And that's why I'm telling you, if you have a credit card and you have $249 small investment to put on a credit card to partnership with me in this credit repair business, you need to do it. Because I think all roads leads to FICO 10 at the end of July. And just think about it. You got parents who have their kids right now 2 weeks more than what they've expected. They're buying more groceries and toiletries than usual. So if they got their income tax return, their income tax return is being eaten up, right? This is where their income tax return is going to feed their kids for an additional 2 weeks. So when June and July get here, most of these people they're going to be out of money. The stocking of their pantries, because they don't know, martial law, or, they don't know the situation. Right. So join me tomorrow, you all. Join me tomorrow, 8:00 Central Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you. Thanks, Periscope. And I'm signing off YouTube. Thank you so much. How to get an 800 credit score as well for that $30 super chat. You all please subscribe to that channel and the $9 super chat as well. Thank you so much. All right. So thank you for all I do. I appreciate you all too. Blessings, peace, and prosperity, better credit and cash flow to you all as well. Thank you. I really enjoyed you. And thank you, Mr. McDowell. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. The $5 super chat. Make sure that you all are in the Phoenix 33 for that $9.99 super chat as well. Thank you, Mr. McDowell. I always appreciate supporting the channel and the knowledge. We're going to see what the Feds are going to do tomorrow. We're going to continue to talk about this, and we are going to position you out for prosperity, right? Position you out for prosperity, and we're going to do that with the credit. I just need your mindset to change and to take on that principle of second kings, that you can use credit to create a business and cash flow, and you can retire rich, right? Thank you so much, Mr. McDowell Jr. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time.